Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan. I am a yarn addict, hence the name Juan the Yarn Addict, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for stopping by to check out my video today. This is a yarn and crochet channel where we talk about all things yarn and all things crochet, so if that interests you, sit back and watch this video because today, my friends, I offer you a tutorial. The tutorial is for this. This is called the Arctic Tundra Infinity Scarf. It also doubles up as a hooded infinity scarf if you so choose. In the description box, I offer you 3 different measurements for sizes small, medium, and large. The one that you see before you today is the large size. So, the yarns I used were Premier yarns, and the variegated yarn that you see here is Premier Poppy in the colorway Quarry, and I used 3 balls of Premier Poppy for this project. The 2 solid colors that you see before you are gray and Aran white. This project requires 2 skeins of each color. It was super easy to work up, it was a lot of fun, and as you will see in the tutorial, it goes very quick. So, without further ado, my friends, we're going to jump right into that tutorial, have a lot of fun, enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay friends, so here are the yarns we will be using for today's project. The yarn right here is Premier Poppy in the colorway Quarry. This is Premier Basix in the colorway Gray, and this is Premier Basix in the colorway Aran. All of this is a 6 super bulky, and the crochet hook that we will be using is a letter N, otherwise known as a 9mm crochet hook. Okay, so first and foremost, we're going to start out with the gray. Okay, so let me just clear the table. Bring the gray over. And first what we need to do is create a slip knot on our hook. Let's give some leeway here for a tail. However you do this is fine as long as you get to this point right here. Okay? And again, make sure you leave a nice little tail to sew in later. And what you want to do is just chain 150. Okay? Just like that, and I am going to pause and come back once I have my 150 chains. Okay friends, so I have my 150 chains here, and this will be perfect for the project we are working on. So from here, what we need to do is chain 2 more, 1, 2, and then what we want to do is go into the 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go in with a double crochet, just like this. And what we want to do is a double crochet in every chain all the way down. Okay, yarn over, go into the chain, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And just repeat that all the way down the chain for every chain that we have here. Okay, so continue doing this and I will meet you when we get to the end of the chains. Okay friends, so here I am with 1 stitch left to go. So I'm going to yarn over, go into the last chain, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through 2. And then I'm going to introduce the next color, which is going to be the Aran. Okay, so with the stitch being just like this, I'm going to just draw in the Aran like that. Make sure there's a decent chain there, or a decent length. I'm going to take my scissors and cut. Let's see. I'm going to cut about the same length. Just like that. Okay. And then what we're going to do is just tie these 2 together. Okay, just like that, and we'll deal with the ends later. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and chain 2 and turn our work. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do 4 double crochets, and then in the 5th one we're going to do a front post double crochet. Okay, so these chains don't count towards anything. We're going to go right into that first stitch right there with a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and let me get some yarn here. Okay, so for the fifth one here, what we want to do is go down here. So we're going to yarn over, go down and around the stitch, draw up a loop, and perform the double crochet per normal. Okay, and then let's do 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in this fifth one, a front post double crochet, and that's going to be the repeat for this row. 4 double crochets and then 1 front post double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth one gets a front post double crochet. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you at the end of the row. So it's going to look like that. 4 double crochets and a front post. 4 double crochets and a front post. Okay? So as I said, continue doing that, and I will see you at the end of row 2. Okay, friends, so I am now at the end of row 2. I've done all of the stitches for the row where we did 4 double crochets, and then in every 5th stitch we did a front post double crochet. So if the counting serves us correctly, once we get to the end of row 2, you will have 1 extra stitch here. Okay, so for that particular stitch, we're just going to go ahead and do a regular double crochet, but we're going to change colors again. So every row we're changing colors. Changing yarn, sorry. So we're going to go ahead and pull on the quarry. So let me just rewind here. So we're going to go ahead and start the double crochet, yarn over, go into the stitch and draw up a loop, yarn over and go through 2, just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and grab the quarry and draw it through just like that. And let's go ahead and cut a decent sized tail. Oops, just like that. And let's go ahead and tie this off. Okay, so here we are. Perfect. All right, so now what we need to do is chain 2 and turn our work. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to place double crochets wherever you see a double crochet, and since we're on the back side of the work, the ribbing is going to be the front side. Every time we approach this right here, it is going to be a back post double crochet. We're literally going to carry up the ribbing up the project. So let's go ahead and do our double crochets, yarn over, go into the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, go through 2. And that's going to be the case for every stitch. Just like that. This yarn is so awesome. Okay, there's 4. Let me pull some yarn here. Sorry about that. All right, so we have our 4 stitches, and now the next stitch is going to be a back post double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, go around the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And then we're just going to go ahead and continue on by placing a double crochet above the existing double crochets from the row previous. Just like this. That's 3, and then here's 4. And then here we are at what was the front post from the previous row. We're going to go ahead and do a back post. So yarn over, come down and around the stitch, just like that. Draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And then just continue doing this until you get to the end of the row. Okay? So again, 4 double crochets. So there's 3. Here's 4. And then now we need a back post double crochet. So yarn over, go in and around, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, and then go through 2. Let's look at the front. Perfect. All right. All right, guys, so I will see you at the end of the row. Just continue this pattern. 4 double crochets, and then a back post double crochet on that 5th stitch. Okay, just like this. All right, guys, I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, friends, so here we are at the end of row 3. So just to recap, we had Gray for row 1, Aran for row 2, and then Quarry for row 3. And I have 1 stitch left. So what we're going to do is we're going to change back over to the Aran color here. So we're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through 2. And then we're going to bring the Aran over, just like this, and slide it right into the stitch like that. And then we're going to take our 2 strands here, even them out, just like this. And then we're going to tie these 2 strands together. Just like that. Okay, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to turn our work. Okay, so far it's looking so good. We have that great ridge situation happening there. We're going to continue doing that. So this row here, we're just going to repeat row 2. We're going to do 4 double crochets, and then in the 5th stitch, we're going to do a front post double crochet, carrying up the ribbing. So that's 3, and this is 4. That's 4 stitches there, and as you can see, there's a ridge forming here. So we're going to continue the tradition, yarn over, go around the stitch, draw up a loop, and do your double crochet per normal. Just like that. Okay? So continue doing that, my friends, and I will see you at the end of row 4, where we will continue on with the rest of our project. Just to recap, 4 double crochets, and then a front post double crochet in that 5th stitch. Okay, I'll see you at the end of row 4. Okay, friends, so I just finished row 4. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this back out because we're going to change back over to the Quarry. All right, so yarn over, go into the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through 2. And then let's pull the Quarry over. Okay, let's pull that through. And then we're going to go ahead and cut off here. Okay, so that ends the Aran. And then we're going to tie the Quarry over with the Aran. Just like this. Perfect. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat, let's see. We're going to repeat the pattern here. We're going to do 4 double crochets and then work in the ribbing there. So let's just chain 2 and turn our work. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do 4 double crochets in these 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then in this next stitch, we're going to do a back post double crochet. We're going to carry up that ribbing. Okay? So let's yarn over, go down and around, draw up a loop, yarn over, and then perform the double crochet per normal. So 4 double crochets, just like that, and then a back post double crochet in the 5th stitch, just like that. So continue doing that, my friends, and I will see you at the end of row 5. Okay, friends, so here I am at the end of row 5, and so for row 6, we're going to bring the gray back in. Okay, so I'm at the last stitch of the row here. So we're going to go in, drop a loop, yarn over, go through 2, and we're going to bring gray back into the fold here. So loop the gray and slide it in, just like that. And then what we're going to do is cut off the granite. I'm sorry, the quarry. I don't know why I said granite. We're going to cut that and tie it twice. Okay. Chain 2 and turn our work. And so for this next row, my friends, we're going to follow the pattern here. We're going to do 4 double crochets and front post double crochets in every 5th stitch. Okay, so I'm going to do a few with you, and then I will meet you at the end of the row. So let's go right into the first stitch. Double crochet. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go in and around the post, and then just do your double crochet per normal. It's going to bring up that whole ridge there, and then just continue this here with 4 double crochets, and then in the 5th stitch a front post double crochet. Okay, if you need to, use the gear button to slow me down, or feel free to rewind and replay if necessary. Okay, so I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, my friends, so I just reached the end of row 6. This is where we're at so far. So we're going to switch over, and we're going to change over to the quarry. So yarn over, go into your last stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through 2. Then we're going to bring over the quarry. Here we go. We're going to bring it through, just like that. And then we're going to cut off the gray. Just like that. And then we're going to tie. 1 and 2. Okay. So, like previous rows, we're going to chain 2 and turn our work. And we're going to continue the pattern. Since the ridges or the ribbing is on the opposite side, that means that with the quarry, we're going to do 4 double crochets, starting with the very first stitch. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. And then for the 5th one, we're going to do a back post double crochet, just like this in previous rows. And then we're going to go back to 4 double crochets, and that's the repeat for this row. 4 double crochets, and then in the 5th stitch, my friends, we're going to be doing a back post double crochet. Yarn over, go down and around the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, just like that, and then back to the 4 double crochets. Okay, my friends, I will see you at the end of this row. Okay, friends, so here I am at the end of row 7, and so we are actually approaching the halfway point here. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue on with the quarry for 2 more rows. So this is going to be a 3-row section here of just the quarry colorway. So no cutoffs here. We're going to go ahead and finish off the row with a double crochet. We're going to chain 2 and turn our work and continue on with the project. It's getting heavy. Okay, so yarn over, go into the 1st stitch and continue on. And since we're on the front side, my friends, that means after the 4 double crochets, we're going to go ahead and do a front post for this row, for row 8. And then for row 9, which is the next row, it's going to be back post double crochets. And that's going to allow us to keep the ribbing all on one side. Okay? And that's what it's kind of looking like from the side. Okay? So I'll see you once the 3 rows are complete, which is at the end of row 9. Okay, friends, so here I am at the end of row 9. We just completed 3 complete rows with the quarry. And so we're going to finish up with the quarry and change over to the gray. Okay, so we're going to go into the last stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, and then we're going to bring in the gray, just like that, and go through. Make sure we have a decent tail going on here. There we go. And then let's go ahead and cut that off. And move the working yarn out of the way, and then go ahead and tie this twice, just like that. Okay, chain 2 and turn the work. Okay, so this is what we're looking like so far. I like to give an angle shot. It gives us what the ribbing looks like. So cool. Okay, so we're going to continue on with the pattern. So 4 double crochets and then front post double crochets all the way down the row for row 10. We're going to start in that 1st stitch right here. Double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we're going to do a front post double crochet, yarn over, go around the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, and go through 2. So continue doing that, my friends, and I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, friends, so I just finished row 10 with the gray, and so we're going to change over to the quarry. And if you're noticing from the earlier rows, every other row was the quarry, and I'm going to continue on with that. So I'm going to pull out the last stitch of the row, start over, go yarn over, go into the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, and only go through 2. And then I'm going to bring the quarry over. Make sure I have a nice decent sized tail there. And then we're going to pull through there just like that. Move the working yarn over. And we're going to cut the gray out. So there's that. And we're going to tie these 2 tails together. Just like that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2 and turn our work. Okay. So let me bring this over here and put that there. Okay. So we're going to continue on with the pattern. The pattern for this is not going to change. Okay. So we're going to do 4 double crochets starting with the very first stitch. Just like that. And then we're going to do 3 more double crochets in these 3 stitches right here. And then we're going to carry up the ribbing. Let me bring that closer. We're going to carry that up. So in the 5th stitch, we're going to do a back post double crochet. So in and around, we're going to grab the yarn over, go through 2, and then go through 2. And then we're going to repeat this for the entire row. So it's 4 double crochets, and then a back post double crochet. Just like this. It's very simple, very easy, very quick. Okay, so continue doing that, my friends, and I'll see you at the end of the row. Okay, friends, so here I am at the end of row 11, and we're going to change over to the Aran. Okay, so like all the previous rows, what we're going to do, yarn over, go into the last stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through 2. And then what we want to do is bring in the Aran, loop it around the hook, draw it through, and then move the working yarn out of the way. So we have the tail here, and then the yarn we want to cut off. Here we go. Let's go ahead and tie this twice. 1 and 2. We're going to go ahead and chain 2 and turn our work. Okay. So we're going to continue the pattern, friends. Since we're on the front side, where we have the ribbing here, what we're going to do is 4 double crochets and then a front post double crochet around the ribbing. Okay? So let's get started. Going into the first stitch, double crochet. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, and 4. And then we're going to do a front post double crochet around that 5th stitch there, and then go back to the regular double crochets. So 4 of those. It's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. And then a front post double crochet. Okay, so continue doing that, and I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, friends, I am at the end of row 12. So we're going to go ahead and finish our last stitch of the row by only going through 2 at the end, just like that. And like the other rows, we're going to switch over to the Quarry. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, loop in the Quarry and pull through. Move the working yarn out of the way there. And then I'm going to match this up here. Let's go ahead and cut off the Aran. And let's go ahead and tie these 2 together. So 1 and 2, just like that. We're going to chain 2 and turn our work. Okay. Let's get the tails out of the way there. Okay. So what we're going to do is 4 double crochets, and then in the 5th stitch, we're going to do a back post to just carry up the ribbing on the front side there. I'm going to yarn over, go into the stitch and do a regular double crochet like we've been doing. So that's 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and so now we're going to do a back post double crochet just like this. And then 4 more double crochets after that, and that's the repeat for this row. 4 double crochets and a back post double crochet, just like that. Okay, my friends, so continue doing that, and I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, friends, so we are at the end of row 13. And I have 1 stitch left, and what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this. Okay, so we're going to end the quarry here and go back to the Aran. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, go into the last stitch, draw up a loop and go through 2, just like that. We're going to bring the Aran over, loop that over and go through 2, just like that. And since Aran's going to be our working yarn, we're going to move that up there. Then I'm going to grab a pair of scissors and cut the quarry off. And then we're going to tie down twice. 1 and 2, just like that. Okay. So to start the next round, we're just going to go ahead, chain 2, and turn our work. Just like that. And let's just do a quick little update on what this is looking like. Super nice. Love the texture, love the visual. It's amazing. Okay. So now we're going to continue on with the pattern. Since we're on the front side, we're going to do front post double crochets every 5th stitch. So double crochet for 4, and then front post double crochet in the 5th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then front post double crochet around the previous front post, or the previous back post. That was the back post there. And then we're just going to repeat that. 4 double crochets, and then a front post double crochet all the way down the row. Okay? So continue doing this, my friends, and I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, friends, so I just arrived at the end of row 14 with 1 stitch remaining, and if the pattern serves us correctly, we're going to be going on to our final row, which is the gray. Okay, so like the previous rows, we're going to go ahead and yarn over, go into our last stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2 only, and then we're going to bring the gray in, just like that, and we're going to slip through the white, take our working yarn, move it up there, out of the way, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut the white off, just like that, and then we're going to tie our 2 colors together, once and then twice, just like that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to turn our work. Okay. So as the previous rows have shown us, what we're going to do is double crochet in the first 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. For this 5th stitch, we're going to do a back post double crochet to keep the ribbing all on one side. Okay? So yarn over, go down and around, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And we're going to repeat that all the way down the row. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we're going to yarn over, go down and around, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. So continue doing that, my friends, and I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, friends, so here I am at the end of row 15, and with 1 stitch remaining. I'm just going to go ahead and finish that up. We're not going to change any colors. And what I'm going to do is we're going to give this project a more finished look. Since this is the last row, if we're looking at the very first row, we have a row of chains and then the double crochet here. So just to make it even, balanced, and finished, let me back this up so we can see a little better here. So I kind of want this side to be more finished than this. So what we're going to do is we're going to just chain 1. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to do a slip stitch in every stitch along the last row here. Let me just reorganize myself. There we go. Okay, so we're not doing back posts, we're not doing anything. All of that is done. So what we're going to do is we're literally just going to go into the stitch, draw up a loop, and slip to close. Draw up a loop, slip to close. And what it's going to do is it's going to give it a more finished and polished look. And that's kind of what we're going for here. Just like this, okay? Let me do several more so you can see the full effect. And I do recommend that when you're doing this, do this on the loose side, not too tight, because what will happen is it'll curl. So you just want to make sure you're mindful of that. Just keep it nice and loose. You just want the finished look here. Okay, so continue doing that, my friends, and I will see you at the end of this last row here. Okay, friends, so here we are at the very, very last row where we did slip stitches, and I just want to remind you that if your work is curling, that means your slip stitches are a little too tight. I would frog it back and loosen it up so that when you laid it down on the table, it lays flat. Okay, so here we are at the very end. And what we're going to do now is we're going to work on the join, okay? So after some thought, I figured, you know, with super bulky yarn, if you go ahead and weave it in, it may take away from the actual pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim down the ends, but envelope them in the join. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that in 1 second. So first what we need to do is create a bunny ear long enough so that the stitch won't come out, okay? And then we're going to grab the scissors and we're going to trim our ends. We're not going to cut them all the way to the knot, but what we are going to do is just cut them so that we have about 2 inches left. And what's going to happen is we're going to do this to both sides. We're going to cut 2 inches, and then as we join the sides together, we're going to crochet over everything so that way it envelopes inside of like this little pocket of stitches. Okay, so let's go ahead and trim our ends just a couple inches, just like that. And we want to do the same for all of our ends. We just want to make sure that they're not long, because what happens is when you envelope ends that are too long, it becomes very bulbous, and that's not what we're going for here. Okay, just make sure you're pulling extra tight there on all of the ends, a couple inches, just like that. So continue doing this, my friends. Again, just a couple inches. Don't cut all the way down to the knot. You want that extra play there in case, you never know. All right, so do this side and then go to the other side and do the same thing. And I will meet you back when all of the ends have been cut. All right. All right, I shall see you after I'm done cutting this side. Okay, friends, so I snipped all of our ends. We just have like an inch or two at the end of everything here. Okay, So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the ribbed portion is on the inside of our project, okay? So we're going to fold it in half and make sure that the flat edges or the flat sides are on either side here, okay? It may be a little disorienting having your hook on the bottom instead of the top, but it's just how it wound up and it's going to be fine. So what we want to do is chain one. I just pulled that out, but we're going to chain one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into this very first stitch here. Let me zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook into this very first section here, right under the stitches there. And we're going to do the same thing on the back side. We're going to pull up, yarn over, and go through both. Okay, so for every double crochet that you see, we're going to go ahead and do 2 single crochets. You're going to insert your hook, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through both. And as you come across these tails here, make sure that you're just holding on to them and going under and around all of your tails here. And what's going to happen is it's going to envelope inside the stitch. Okay, so go into the stitch here, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, go next door here, grab the tails, make sure they're there, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through both of those loops there. And see what's happening is it's becoming part of this envelope, just like that. And then we're going to move on to the next one here. And again, just make sure you're holding on to those ends as you're going. It can be a little tricky, but it's very effective when you're working with thicker yarns here. There we go. And if you notice, everything is stuffed inside just like that, okay? So I would just continue doing this all the way down the side, inserting your hook into every stitch there, drawing up a loop, yarning over, and going through both, and just pull on your tails as you go. That way everything is nice and tight. And before you know it, everything is inside of the envelope there. Okay, so continue doing that, my friends, and I will see you at the end of this row here. Okay, friends, so I am back. This is what my end looks like. Let me zoom out so you can see. So this is what my join looks like, and I had a lot of things, a lot of tails are in here. Okay, so if you have anything sticking out, feel free to trim that with scissors. I mean, they're already in there. They're in there for the long haul. So just go ahead and trim anything that may be sticking out. Okay, and then here at the end, I would also trim, not this, this is the very beginning, but anything that was stuffed inside there, I would just go ahead and trim that off. Just like that. Okay, and then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the very first chain and the very last stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through both of those loops, and then I'm going to chain twice, and then I'm going to cut a tail. I'm going to pull the hook away from the work, pinch above those 2 chains and slide down to create a very tight double knot. And then I'm going to take the tail from the chains and the tail from the join, and I'm going to knot that twice. Now, had this been any other weight of yarn, I more than likely would have sewn this in, but it's a super bulky 6, and sewing in a super bulky 6 is very difficult. So we're just going to keep this very simple and neat, and we're going to trim that. Just like that. Okay. So let's flip this inside out and have a look. Okay. So We have some that didn't make the cut, and that's okay. If you have that, just trim it. Just like that. And there we are, my friends. Our project is completed. So that's all there is, my friends. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to sound off in the comments. It's been a pleasure showing you this, and yeah, until the next one, guys, take care. Bye-bye.